From the very beginning, I want to make it abundantly clear that this is an analysis video, or an analysis, as my uncle liked to do to me, meaning that I will be looking at this man's set and I will be explaining and analyzing it from the perspective of a full-time virgin. If you want to watch the video, I suggest you look at the link in the description section below where you could look at it in its entirety without me yapping. But the purpose of a commentary video like this is that this routine changed my life. When I first watched this when I was very young in the first World Greatest Magic special that me and my family ever put on the TV, I was taken aback by how cool this guy looked, by how much pussy, honestly, I thought this man would get performing in the way that he did. Little did I know that that wouldn't be true, and I would just be relegated to a life of just wondering what they look like. But let's get this started and show you exactly what I'm talking about.
Merci beaucoup. Thank you very much. It's a good call.
From the very beginning of the set, we already know that this man's tongue is going to be firmly placed in our anus. With this conversion of a card to a coin, which I think is beautiful. It plays way better in person than it does on camera. However, when I first saw this, I was just taken aback because I had no idea that lapping could be done in this sort of way. Now, obviously, the rest of the participants happen to have a blind eye for whatever's going in his lap, but I believe they're looking at a monitor and reacting to it, as you could see from the gentleman to his left that's looking to the right of Jean-Pierre rather than actually at Jean-Pierre himself. Some of them are still looking at him, but it still doesn't matter. What you get is a beautiful conversion of a card to a coin, and I think this is a wonderful way for him to begin this set. He's just so fucking cool, isn't he? I really wanted to get one of those red jackets when I was younger. Now I realize that it looked cringe because I don't have the sex appeal of a French god like Jean-Pierre Vallerino. But we could see his work is immediately going to be set with the motif of coins, and the conversion of that larger coin into a deck of cards is going to slide in to work that combines both units of magic, in this case coin magic and card magic. And here we have what is going to be the intro to his beautiful and FISM winning act, which is called Champagne. This is an act that relies heavily on lapping, and obviously you wouldn't want the participants behind you, but it does look good for the blocking of this particular routine for the audience that's watching it, that primarily is the one that they care about, which is the audience at home.
Wow. Make money, it's perfect.
I'm aggressively embarrassed to tell you how much I practiced this sequence as a youth. That classic palm production of those coins is not easy to do. You're letting go of those coins one at a time. And this also, you see the dance that Jean-Pierre Vallerino likes to implement when it comes to his card and coin magic. He does it almost like a ballet, where he's using classic sleight of hand methodology, but he's adding a little bit of a twist to it. And you notice that even when he's picking up the card underneath the coin, he's still adding a little bit of flair, which is his signature, and why I was so attracted to his style of magic. Jesus, Jean-Pierre, save some for the rest of us. My goodness, we want to see what one looks like too, you know? And here he does a slight mess up there where he accidentally flashes the fact that there aren't a lot of coins underneath the card, but he still covers for it brilliantly, and it leads to the first appearance of the champagne, which you're going to see is a big part of the rest of the act. If I do recall correctly, the original introduction to the champagne act, as he first taught it, was with a pen cap. So he would actually put a card inside of the clip of a pen and change that to a dollar bill and then change that to the larger coin, which I thought was a very interesting change and one that I've never seen before. Of course, he uses lapping as a method.
No, where is it?
I've watched this clip so many times and I still don't know about that 5 of clubs that's accidentally turned over in a deck. But here he does a wonderful offbeat production of the coin purse that he puts the coin in. Now he does reposition the card because the card is out of place and it needs to be directly in front of him in that position so he could actually carry on with the actual vanish itself. And again, he makes use of lapping excellently here as the actual coin purse vanishes. And he goes into the next part, which is my favorite part of this entire act, the card productions.
Now, kit.
Now, this that he goes into right now is my favorite card production of all time. It's a Benzai spin out variation, but as you could see, he adds his signature Jean-Pierre twist, where he actually separates the card and then he throws it in the other hand, which I think is a brilliant take on that particular production and one that looks way more classy than just the typical Benzai spin out move. I desperately practiced this move so aggressively just to try to get it down as smooth as he does it. And the best part about it too is that it does give the impression that you are cutting the deck. And after the fact, when he regroups the cards, it looks to all the world like the cards have been cut and that card has been produced directly from the middle. Now, we are treated to these last two productions that involve an aerial component for the ace of spades and the ace of clubs, where he goes off into producing the ace of spades using a variation on a shotgun-like production, very reminiscent of a Fortin-like action, and this last one, he catches in his hand. Now, this move is extraordinarily difficult to get consistent because the card sometimes likes to fly in other directions, but boy, is that such a lovely production of the four aces. And you could tell when he's out here just staring down the shotties that he's about to destroy after this particular taping.
Here.
Even with something as simple as a double undercut, Jean-Pierre Vallerino adds a signature flair to it that really makes him stand out from other magicians. And this entire sequence, I think, is brilliant because it goes into this production of the aces from his bare hands that he sneaks into a Tenkai palm from a spread. That's a very novel way to palm the cards. And you could see he produces the aces and uses that as a cover for another production of Champagne. This next sequence is a cards across style action, and you can see that Jean-Pierre flashes like a motherfucker, but he hides it underneath the dance of his movements. So his movements are very poetic, and him with his style, it covers his flashes perfectly. Now here we have the actual transposition taking place where the aces are shown to have no card between them, and he could just turn this card over, but look how he does it artistically and gives it meaning.
Amazing.
Now, he used that sequence to bring in another deck. As you could see, he brings in a different deck. However, he also takes advantage of this offbeat to ring in a blank card on top of this jack. And his contrived handling here, I've always wondered why he did it that way, but it's to cover the action from the cameras, and I think he did it beautifully. The introduction of this sequence is a packet change. Now, this packet change is one of the ballsiest ones I've ever seen because he's going to toss the aces in his lap and then drop the cards from his hand, pretending like he just had a different thought, much like he did with the jack, wondering what he was going to do with it. And at this point, he uses that to produce both champagne glasses, and it's just a disgusting sequence. There is a lot to learn from this entire act. Now, yes, there are a lot of flashes. Yes, there's a lot of weird little actions that are just part of his personality and his performance style, and it's not going to work for everyone, but you could take a lot of it. Those productions work tremendously well for any sort of ace sequence. Also, the staging is a great thing you could learn from this. That last switch that he does, that really ballsy ace packet switch that he does, he actually set up beforehand with the jack. When he takes the jack, you could see that he kind of questions himself, and he makes a, I would say, exaggerated movement, wondering what he's going to do, and then he turns it blank. He does the exact same thing for the aces right before he deals them out, which I think set up that sequence brilliantly. I, of course, have to remind you to both check out my playing cards, the Missing Piece deck, available down in the description section below, as well as checking out the PigCake Magic Academy, the home of over 1,500 videos going over card stuff, coin stuff, everything you need to become the best magician you could possibly be, all for the low price of a White Claw a month, which is $5. $5 and you get access to a bunch of tricks, moves, tutorials, everything you need, again, to become the best magician you could possibly be. Not the best person, but the best magician. It's always great to look back at things like this, for example, that I looked at in my youth with a lot of exuberance, especially now with all the knowledge that I've acquired after years of virginity. And yes, there are some things that I obviously misremembered and I looked through rosy retrospection. But overall, I think it's a beautiful act and worthy of study for serious card magicians. Although I do hate that I was so serious in this video, so I guess to end it, fuck off. Look for a pussy, cunt.
I see you again, when 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 I see you again.